everybody. So I just finished up day 3 of the 31 and 31, and today we are looking at the Beyond. So I decided in the beginning that I'm going to look at a couple of the movies that are on like Shudder's Essentials, and I guess this is one of them, and it's a Fulci film. If you've never seen it before, basically about a lady that buys a house that happens to be a gateway to hell, and then just a bunch of shit randomly happens, and it's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of this one, to be honest with you. And for a lot of people, I know Felucci is either you love it or you hate it. And for this, I'm kind of in the hate it. See, my problems come from a couple of things. One, the story is a goddamn fucking mess. It's just all over the goddamn place. Constantly, like, trying to be artsy, but at the same time trying to be like, ooh, I'm so scary. Like, it's just not quite what I was expecting. The one thing that it does have going for it, I should say, is the gore factor on it. It's really fucking high. But I think for the time of when it came out, because the movie itself, I believe, was 81. So it's really like it's really trying too hard. I think that's kind of where I've got it. Like the standout scenes in terms of the gore, honestly, is in the beginning when there's two scenes where two people get their eyes ripped out that one looks pretty good, which I think is the first one, and the second one just looks terrible. And there's another scene where the blind lady Emily, she gets her throat ripped out by a dog, but it's obviously like a hand puppet. It just comes in, it's like rah, rah, and then it rips off her ear, rah, and you're like, that's okay, I get it, lots of blood, but it looks terrible for the time. I guess maybe back in 81 this was something special. Like, it really is like schlocky gore, like complete schlocky gore that you see in the film. And those scenes actually kind of kept me awake because I was like, oh, and a couple of them, like, one is really ridiculous. I think the most ridiculous one they have is when the mom gets the acid poured on her face. Like, she goes visit her husband, the guy that got his eye ripped out, that was just trying to, go downstairs and fix the plumbing, and then he happens to be accosted by a demon and gets his eye ripped out, and then his hairy fucking chest. Let me tell you, like, they show a little scene of them sewing up where his heart, I guess, used to be, because the guy, I don't know if his heart got ripped out or the doctor decided, oh, you don't need that anymore, and took it out and sewed him up, or just removed his organs. I don't know what the fuck he did, but he did something like that. Hairy fucking chest. It's all the way down there. I mean, it's like true Italian hair. And maybe that's also what kind of gets me, but we'll get to that in a second before I go on a giant fucking tangent. But the thing is that, like, she is so distraught, and then she turns around, and that's supposedly when she sees the ghoul, and she backs into a thing, falls on the floor, and then acid is pouring on her face, and her daughter comes in there, and she's like, what's going on? And then looks over, and then sees mom with acid pouring all over her face, and it's just kind of like, it's a long fucking scene, and seems really ridiculous. The other one is when the lady that owns the hotel, her friend goes to check out something at the hotel, like at the library for her, and then he falls off the ladder when he's looking at something because something spooks him or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden the spiders come out to eat him. Ooh, the spiders are gonna get him. And when the spiders first show up, it is the most fucking, like, fake piece of fucking spider, like, leg that you'll ever fucking see. It is just terrible. I mean, even for 81, I would call that fucking terrible. And this is supposed to be fucking frightening. It's not fucking frightening. It's fucking stupid, is what it is. It just looks absolutely fucking terrible, like ridiculous. And then it turns into real tarantulas, and it looks great. I'm like, okay, cool. And they're all like crawling over him, and the shots they get, oh, great. But it's just bad. Like, and then he starts getting ripped apart by the spider. Like, why is the spider going to go in there and start ripping out its eye? It makes no fucking sense. So, like I said, there are just a couple of things, like, it just tries to be sometimes, like, really artsy, when it doesn't necessarily need it. Like the scene with the mom and the acid on the face, it like pours over her forever. We focus on it. And yeah, you see her face melting a little bit, but it's nothing like really worthwhile. Like, is it? I just don't get it. So, it's one of those films where I feel like if you really like Fulci, and I guess you like the trilogy, then you're going to really enjoy this movie. If you're like me and this is the first time you've ever seen The Beyond, your mileage is going to vary. It just wasn't very interesting to me. Like I said, the gory parts were interesting, but the story is just really muddled and just seems to end randomly. And also because I think that it was originally done in Italian and then it was overdubbed, but the people are kind of matching the dub. Like it was dubbed from English into Italian and then from Italian back into English. Like that's the way that it feels. And that also kind of detracted from everything. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with tomorrow's 31 and 31 horror movie. And before I forget, with the ending of this review as well, I always forget to rate these things on the end of it. So I guess I have to give this film, The Beyond, 2 out of 5 fake spider legs. It's just wasn't necessarily my cup of tea. So we'll see you next time on the next 31 in 31 movie review. See you later.